Now, the last myth, which I'm going to discuss maybe, or I have another one, my favorite, the current account balance. It's unsustainable with the fixed left. Basically, the story goes, we have a fixed left, we have a higher inflation than our major market, which is Europe. That means that Bulgaria is losing competitiveness because its prices are rising faster than in our major market. That means Bulgaria has to borrow from abroad, which means current account deficit. The story was working beautifully until the crisis. Yes, Bulgaria's current account deficit was exploding like crazy. World records now there. 25% of GDP current account deficit. Everybody says, this is unsustainable. You're going to crash. You're going to have all kinds of... The Baltics, they have nothing. You guys... That was true. All the foreign observers, especially private banks who love floating exchange rates and wanted to advise Bulgaria to change its currency board, they basically said, this is an unsustainable current account deficit. You have to crash to get out of it. Well, the Bulgarian economy had a sort of a 5% recession, average European recession. Everybody in Europe had a 5% recession in 2009. And basically, the current account deficit disappeared within 2 years, absolutely unexpectedly to any of those observers. Because they forgot there was another story. And the other story was, well, maybe we're having this current account deficit because all this capital wants to enter the country. Nobody's forcing the capital into the country. The country is not asking to borrow money, and most of it is coming in the form of FDI anyway, which is not loans. It's ownership. And when they come in the country, obviously after that, several months later, you get all the investment goods coming in the country, which is trade deficit, which is a part of the current account deficit. So basically the other story says, this thing, the blue line, is leading the red line. So if for some reason the blue line disappears, the red line will disappear, go down to zero, up to zero in this case. Guess what? That's what happened. Talking about one theory making the wrong prediction and the other theory making the right prediction. Choose your theory. But basically, this is one of the myths that, oh, the pegged exchange rate is creating this uncompetitiveness and then you open up your current account deficit. The other story is, you're attracting money from abroad and that by definition opens up your current account deficit. I mean, basically, any situation in which foreign saving wants to enter a country more than local saving wants to leave, you have a current account deficit. And the situation was drastic in Bulgaria, especially with EU membership, and before that with NATO membership. The risk profile of Bulgaria changed dramatically. So you have all this inflow of capital, and you have the current account deficit explode. And the moment the inflow of capital stopped, you might call it a sudden stop, under Guillermo Calvo, and the current account deficit disappeared. It's even entered into positive territory. It's still positive this year.